Still stuck in this house with a mind full of doubts. Tired of staring out the window, eating too much, drinking too much. Tired of watching the grass grow. Channel 2, Channel 3, back to Channel 2. I watched everything in my queue. So put me on a train, I don't care where it's going. Fly me on a plane, maybe out to Wyoming. Need an RV, no plans, just you and me.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Schwind Outdoors. Welcome to this beautiful, warm, and foggy morning on the Laguna Madre. So the forecast lied to me a little bit. It was supposed to be blowing about 5 miles an hour this morning, building up to 15 to 17 by noon. But I think it's approaching 15 miles an hour already. So I think the name of the game this morning is get in, catch a couple fish, and get the heck out of here before this wind picks up anymore. It's good to be back in the kayak, man. Between the wind and our crazy Texas freeze, it's been a while since I've been in the kayak. But we've got some birds working. The chop on the water could help. Nice foggy morning. So let's catch some fish. As usual, I'm throwing a down south lure, the red shad color, because the water's a little murky. I brought a rod rigged up with a popping cork and a gulp mullet to throw. I really wanted to be able to drift this flat and use that popping cork across it, but it's a little too windy for that. So it turns out with this wind, I am drifting this flat. I don't need a windsock, I just needed my anchor. It's not holding me, so we're just slowly drifting across this flat. I just had a heck of a nice bite and he got off. I was fighting him for just a minute and it came off. Come on, fish, come on. Man, that was a good bite. I've gotten 3 bites right at this spot. I haven't hooked up to anything yet. This makes for some tough fishing, not being able to control the kayak and not being able to have as much control over your lure. You can't read the surface of the water quite as well, but there's some fish here. I don't know, maybe I should switch to a different color. Right now I've got this chicken of the sea on. I put it on thinking it still had that dark back, but then the chartreuse tail. It might be pretty good for murky water, but you know what? I'm closer to the shoreline than I was earlier this morning, and it's cleared up a little bit over here. And I might be able to get away with a lighter colored lure. Bone diamond. Let's see if it catches us our first fish. Woo! It's getting foggier out here too. The wind's picking up a little more. Come on, fish. Help me out here. What I typically do is kind of a, I don't know, medium to slow retrieve with a couple pops, and then I'll reel in the slack. A couple pops, reel in the slack. And that's worked really well for me, but not so well this morning. So the other thing that I could do is just kind of dredge this thing, let it sink down like this, and then just slowly reel in, you know, kind of let it drag across the bottom. And that's what I'm gonna try out for a little while. See if maybe I can entice something to eat this morning. There's a fish. There's a fish. Maybe that, he got off right here, the boat. It was a trout, pretty good little trout. He probably was a keeper. All right, we'll try that slow retrieve. Maybe that's what they're into this morning. That was a real soft bite. He didn't hit it real hard. In fact, I thought I was just hung up in some grass until I pulled back on it and he gave me a couple head shakes. We've got a southeast wind this morning, and so what I've been doing is paddling straight into the wind, pretty much as far as I can stand it, and then I'm letting it blow me back towards the shore. Then I paddle straight back out again and let it blow me back to the shore again. And what that's allowing me to do is to work this entire flat pretty thoroughly. first cast on the popping cork, I hook into a fish. What do we have here? Oh, he's got a little fight. What do we got? Decent little trout. As soon as that hit the water, that cork went under. Oh man, this fish has made me work today. Oh, come here, guy. Come here, guy. That's not a bad trout at all. Not at all. And the way I like to work a popping cork, let me show you what I've got rigged up here for someone that's not familiar with it. I use these H&H popping corks. I know there's some better ones out there, but this is just what I've always used. I should probably start trying some others out. But the idea is you want it to make a lot of noise. You know, they rattle, and what I like is it's got this deep kind of cup on top, so it really makes a real deep, loud popping noise when you give it a good pop. I don't like the ones that have their own leaders. I like to drop off a liter of 20-pound fluorocarbon. And then what I like to do underneath them, obviously you can rig it with some like live shrimp or something like that, and it works great. But I like these Gulp mullets under it. Chartreuse color, it just seems to work. So that's how I rig it up. And let me show you how I fish it. If I'm drifting, I always cast in the direction of my drift. I'll put it out there, give it a good pop, and I like to always have it moving just a little bit. You know, have it leaning in towards me the whole time, and then every few cranks on my reel I'll stop and give it a good pop, and then just keep on reeling. And that's how I fish it. So it's not like if you grew up fishing for bluegill on a lake and you chunky out a bobber with a worm on it and you just let it sit till it goes under. It's not really the same thing. You can fish it that way, and I've caught fish doing it that way, but if you work it kind of like a lure, you'll have better luck with it for sure. There he is. Where are you going, buddy? Another trout, guys. That looks like a good trout. Yep, that's a decent trout for sure. Oh, is the popping cork gonna save the day? It sure seems like it. Look at that, it just popped right out of there. I knew that fish wasn't hooked very well. That's a pretty good fish. I kind of want to get a measurement on him. That's good to see. Good to see. This guy. 17.5. Yep. That's a good fish. Good fish. Oh, we're gonna let this popping cork save our day? That is fine with me. There's a fish. That's just crazy, guys. We fished all that time with the down south, and in a fraction of the time, he got off. That's all right. That was a decent trout. In a fraction of the time, we catch 3 fish with the popping cork. There we go. Flounder. All right. I haven't caught a flounder in a while. Cool. Check that guy out. Let's see. Come here, guy. Come here, guy. These are the craziest looking fish to me. Old flatfish. That's awesome. All right, Flatty. Well, that's going to do it for today. I really appreciate y'all watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then please consider subscribing to the channel because I put out a new one every Tuesday. Y'all have a great week, and we will see you next time.
Put me on a train, I don't care where it's going.